after the destruction of Jerusalem and the Old Covenant and the fall of Rome, where the feet of iron and miry clay were crushed with the stone, and the stone became a great mountain. Was this the beginning of the millennial kingdom, and is this where it started? Is this part of what they're trying to hide with the Santa Claus story? You can see more maps with Jerusalem in the center. Jerusalem, city of peace. But again, this is what they want you to believe after all the Arctic explorations during the early generations of Satan's little season, kicking off this narrative of Santa Claus. Ultimately, today, if you polled, no pun intended, 100 people, almost all of them will tell you North Pole is at the top of a spinning globe and is nothing but cold water and ice. Here's a picture of the heavens with the North Star, Polaris. And you can see the stars circling the central star Polaris. And you can see the aurora borealis. And you can see Santa Claus here in the North Pole with the aurora borealis. They tell us one thing about how these northern lights are formed, but possibly it could be light emanating from the throne of God above the firmament. As we see here in Revelation 4:3, and he that sat was to look upon like a jasper and a sardine stone, and there was a rainbow round about the throne, in sight like unto an emerald. So now let's get to 20th century Christmas. And what the 19th century artists like Thomas Nast and the writers like Charles Dickens and Washington Irving, Norman Rockwell continued to solidify Santa Claus in our modern day Christmas celebrations. You can see here Santa Claus in the earliest 20th century, artistic renditions drawn by Norman Rockwell. You can see him looking at the North Pole with a magnifying glass, with a book in his hand that says, "Good boys." And Norman Rockwell, like Thomas Nast, did many sketches and drawings for the Saturday Evening Post. Not the Harper's Weekly like Nast did, but the Saturday Evening Post, depicting Santa Claus. I don't know if he did 33 or not, but he did a lot. And many of them we know from our past Christmases. But Norman Rockwell is also a Freemason. And you can see him here drawing or painting the square and compass Masonic logo on a lantern in honor, most likely, of their light bearer, Lucifer. Again, they're in a club. And here later in the Saturday Evening Post, becoming more modern, this in the 1950s, we see Norman Rockwell's famous photo of an adolescent girl with a black eye. And if you've studied the Black Eye Club, you'll know just how sinister that innocent-looking Saturday Evening Post mid-20th century cover is. But this is what they do. They try to cover for the past that they know and the season that they're in, and try to hide it from everybody through illustrations and novels and the media. Again, Santa Claus and Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola was part of modern day Santa Claus and furthering the myth of Santa Claus to children around the world. And Santa Claus began to pop up in many advertisements. This one for Mason's wine essences for Xmas and New Year, especially, but suitable for any time. Good, it's Mason's. And how about this Mason's wine essences advertisement? For 6 pence, you can buy a bottle which will make 60 glasses in 6 minutes. So you have 666 references of a Mason's wine essence advertisement with a dopey old Santa Claus figure marketing it. And obviously, this was the first Santa Claus movie in 1898 with the modern motion picture and televisions beginning in the 20th century. We began to see Santa Claus movies. And this is The Night Before Christmas that was made in the early 20th century. Basically, the poem by Moore, what's his name? Clement Clark Moore. And now we just get to, there's so many movies today about Christmas. I mean, we've seen a lot of these. But again, this is the fabric that Satan's Little Season gives us here. And that's how true saints of the past and where they are, where they were, gets turned into figures like this, and finally mythological figures like Santa Claus. And this is hidden from us. Don't believe in what our real history, what happened. Believe in this mythical tale of Santa Claus, kids. And Macy's parades, Santa giving out gifts, and one night taking his sleigh and reindeer led by Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer all over the world, giving cheer and gifts to everybody. You can see all the gifts of our modern Christmas era. You can see Benjamin Franklin here, a Freemason, and one of the first with a Santa's hat. You can see Andrew Jackson. You know, if we want to do a $20 Christmas gift at an office party, pull out an Andrew Jackson that has a Freemason on the front and old world architect buildings on the back. And in a few years, maybe they are going to finally change the $20 bill. Like they put up every year in Congress, and change it from Andrew Jackson to Harriet Tubman.